Hello, everybody. My name is Benjamin Chesler. I'm a junior at Newton South High School. And being a student, education is an issue that's really important to me, primarily because it affects me. During the campaign, I coordinated my school for the Get Out the Vote operation, and I led some student-only phone banks and canvases. So I think that it's really great that I'm representing young people here today. And yeah, young people, come on, give it up. And actually, to give us information about important issues in education in the Commonwealth is Michele Norman. And Michele Norman's title is, I actually don't know how this fits on the plaque outside her door, but she is the Director of Strategic Planning and Collaboration for the Massachusetts Executive Office of Education. So she's really important because her title's long. And she's also the lead author of the Governor's Education Action Agenda. She has been working on education reform efforts for many years. So please give a warm round of applause to Michele Norman.
There are no plaques on our doors, Benjamin, which is a good thing. Thank you. I'm really excited to be here today. I sort of have a couple of things that I want to reveal first. Everything that you will hear from me today comes from somebody other than me. The Governor, the Secretary of Education, Andy Sum of the Center for Labor Market Studies at Northeastern University, researchers, educators, superintendents, everybody but me. So that's good. The second secret is that I am much better sitting around a kitchen table with a bunch of folks, or at the playground as we push our kids on the swings, or at the dump holding signs for candidate for election than I am doing this kind of thing up here. I'd much rather be where you are. But through sort of interesting accidents of timing and opportunity, I'm here, and I'm glad to be actually doing this kind of thing with you all, helping you to understand some of the things that the Patrick administration has done in and around education, and helping to give you some basic understanding of an issue that is of huge importance, not only to Governor Patrick and his administration, but to the OFAMA administration as well. And I think those of you who know the story of both men, that the personal connection that they have to the power of education and the opportunities that they can provide to transform lives is really what drives the prioritization of education at the top of both of their lists. So it's great to be able to talk with you about how you can continue to get engaged, how you can become more engaged, and hopefully when you walk away from this conversation, have some tools that will help you to turn your enthusiasm into enthusiasm of your friends and neighbors. So as I said, the governor came into office with education at the top of his list of priorities. We've done a bunch of things, and though you'll read in the newspapers that we haven't, I'm here to tell you we have. So here's a few of them. First and foremost, the governor reorganized, literally, the governance of education in the Commonwealth. For a very long time, early education and care operated in one vertical silo, K through 12 education in another vertical silo, higher education in the third vertical silo. And this governor quickly saw that that kind of bifurcation of efforts doesn't carry a student all the way through the system effectively, that in between each of those vertical silos is a gap, and in those gaps we were losing far too many kids. The second thing that we did as a Patrick administration was the selection of that Secretary of Education, who was authorized through the passage of that governance legislation. Secretary Paul Reville is a longtime education reformer with a huge record of success here in Massachusetts and across the country. The reason that's important is that education is one of those issues that has such a multiplicity of places where decisions are made, both the state level, the federal level, and most importantly at the local level. So here you have a guy leading the charge on this new horizontally connected education system who's been in the conversation, in the debate, and in the lead of making change at every level. Governor Patrick and Secretary Reville have appointed a pretty strong and fairly activist cluster of commissioners at each of the departments. This team, together with Secretary Reville, are really driving those connections that we think are so important. And we'll talk a little bit about some of that in a minute. Budgets are hard to talk about right now. I know all of you are in the same level of, stress and pressure that the rest of us are. And those who have been in state government for a long time, which is not me, tell me that this is truly an unprecedented time. I can't tell you how frequent, literally daily, the news is coming out about what's happening with the budget. It's got a lot of pressure on people. It's got a lot of hard decisions that have been put into our lap. But even in the face of all that, this governor has prioritized education spending to the best of his ability, and in fact rallied a group of governors to work with the Obama administration to be sure that the preservation of education funding was a sort of fundamental tenet of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. So we have a lot of good, constant visibility on that issue, and I think we can already see that it's helping Massachusetts. We passed and introduced and passed the first higher education capital bond bill in about 2 decades. The governor undertook an unprecedented grassroots level education policy effort called the Readiness Project. More than 200 education experts weighing in on what the state should be thinking about, not just for today, but 10 years down the road. And even undertaking a project as a new governor that has a 10-year time horizon is a pretty significant, pretty gutsy thing. But I think that what you'll see from that is that every action that happens out of this administration isn't happening for today, it's happening for today and what's to come. So that's important.